I'd like each of you to give the session a letter grade and briefly explain why it deserves that grade. Representative Hayden?
So letter grades are a little subjective. I guess it comes from your point of view. We did get some important things accomplished, and we didn't get some important things accomplished. But I thought there was a failure on leadership, so I would probably give it a C to a C minus. You want me to just briefly go over some of the things, the highlights, or what is the forum?
We'll get to those. C minus. Representative Fahey?
Well, I would probably say about a B minus. I was pretty disappointed in the failure to reach agreement on controlling taking further action on stabilizing the long-term cost of government and reforming our corporate tax structure. I actually think our long-term budget health is the biggest issue facing the state legislature right now. So I wanted to see a little bit more movement on that this session, even though we did pass some really very good policy bills that I'm excited about.
And from the point of view of the upper chamber, Senator Byron.
Well, I'm a little more optimistic. I would give it a B plus. And largely that's, we came in wanting to do a number of things. We wanted to certainly balance the budget, which we did. That's the only thing constitutionally that the legislature is required to do is balance the budget. And we did that without any major new taxes other than on the healthcare side. We did, the biggest problem we had coming in was dealing with the deficit in healthcare because of the cutback in federal money, as well as a far larger growth in Oregonians who found themselves wanting to get on the insurance, state-sponsored insurance, than we thought when we passed the bill a couple of years ago. I think it speaks to the need in Oregon and people. And we did a transportation plan. It was pretty good. We did some changes in criminal justice that I think are pretty good. And contrary to Saul's thing, we actually did cut some employees. 1057, Senate Bill 1057, will roll up to over $1 billion in savings over the next couple of biennia.
Representative Brzezinski.
I would go with a B. And I say a B because we did get the balanced budget. That's, of course, the most important thing that we have to do within the 2-year cycle. But I think we lost a lot of opportunities. The Senate Democrats had what I'm going to call an unwritten rule of 16. And what I mean by that is we have 17 members that make up the Senate Democrats. There are 13 Republicans that make up the whole Senate. The leadership on our side required 16 Democratic votes to move any legislation forward. So if you look at the number of bills that went to the floor, virtually every bill that went to the floor, in fact, every bill that went to the floor passed. I know Lee and I have both had these conversations that we feel that we should have a little bit more action on the floor, a little bit more debates, and allow some of these measures that may be somewhat a little bit more controversial for individuals to actually stand up and say where they stand on those issues. And so that's one of the things, reasons why I think we weren't able to get new revenue. Also, we did not restructure the Oregon Department of Energy. Lee and Representative Paul Hovey worked very diligently in trying to bring something that would go forward with some of the issues that have happened there. I thought that was one that we should have had and would have been easy to get. In the area of judiciary that I chair, advanced directives dealing with tort caps based on a case that came out of the Supreme Court, Oregon Supreme Court, in May of 16. We did not address those. And what that means for the on the caps, there will be many individuals that will be victimized in multiple ways, from accidents to sex abuse to whatever else, that will be limited as to what type of recovery they'll be able to receive from the perpetrators.